I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm reviewing Australis from Cosmos. Australis is a 2 to 4 player, dice drafting, tableau building, and a little bit of a race game at the same time. The general idea of the game is across 5 rounds of play, players are going to be drafting these dice. These dice over here are going to be useful for a variety of things, but mostly building up your tableau, racing along this track, getting area control, as well as getting schools of fish, and then being mindful of the various dice competition you're going to have at the end of each round. To that end, again, 5 rounds of play. In each round, players draft 4 dice, and each dice does different things. So let's walk you through what those dice do, and then go through, well, all of the stuff. Let's start off with the white dice, my personal favorite. The white dice are going to give you cards which are going to build up your tableau. For a dice like this, you get 2 cards. This one gives you 2 cards and a point. Those dots are points. The little block rectangles over there, those are cards. When you take a die, the first thing you do is you activate any cards that are in that column, which for your first die means nothing. Nothing's going to activate. But I'm going to go ahead and take that die over there. Let's take this one with 2 and 1 point. We're going to move myself up a point. I'm going to take this die and then activate the cards in this column, which again, nothing. But I am going to set myself up for hopefully drafting a purple die. So I'm actually going to take 2 of these purple cards, knowing that by the time the round ends, I should have a chance of getting at least 1 purple die. I'm going to take both purple dice and I'm going to put them, both purple cards, I'm going to put them into the purple column of my tableau, where they will activate whenever I draft a purple die. It's worth noting you cannot have duplicates, so if you have the exact same card and the exact same color, then you can't use that. Meaning there are 4 abilities in these cards, and you can't double up to be able to get like the same exact thing every time you draft a die of one color. We'll go ahead and refill the display over here, which I realize I have an extra card here. Let's go ahead and put that out. We'll refill the display, putting the card out, and then we'll go to the next dice drafting. Other players will go ahead and draft dice. We'll also want to draft that one, and that one, taking some good ones. Back to my turn over here, and I'm going to go ahead and draft a purple die. Like I said, it's only a 5. They're all 5s. That other person took the 8 I wanted, but nonetheless, we're going to draft a purple die. I'm going to place it down here. I'm going to activate the column. I get 1 school of fish and 2 points. So I'm going to go up 2 points over here, and I get 1 fish that gets added to my school. Then I get to do the ability of the purple die, and the purple die lets you place your coral out on that number or lower. So the corals have different numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and there's going to be an area control scoring at the end of each round, as well as the fact that each coral is worth 1 point at the end of the game. I'm going to put it down the highest one I can, which is a 5. It's going to be a lot of competition there, but hey, if I'm first there, maybe other players will be incentivized to go lower. Because again, when you take a die, you can go lower, which sometimes you'll want to if somebody else has something locked up on the points already. So we've covered white dice, we've covered purple dice. Let's cover the yellow dice. Yellow dice will give you that many points, so in this case 1, as well as giving you that many fish, in this case 5. So I'm going to replace my 1 with a 5, in this case 4. I'm going to replace my 1 with a 5, and that's my 4 plus my 1. I now have 5 fish over here. The last color, well, red's going to be another one. We'll talk about that soon. Next up over here, we have movement. When you draft a blue die, you get to go ahead and move on the track and go 1, 2, 3, 4. If you land on another turtle, you jump ahead. So while you count the spaces of the turtles, if you land on one, you go 1 forward. So there's never going to be ties in the EAC over here. Those are going to be the 4 main dice. You have movement, you have points and fish, points and cards, and then corals, and then lastly we have this die, which will give you first player for next round, or maintain it if you already have it, as well as giving you this dice, which has the best numbers. These 3 dice over here have numbers 2 to 7, 3 to 8, and 4 to 9. Those are going to be relevant for the dice battles that we'll come back to soon. So, that's the basic idea. Draft dice, build up your tableau, advance on the EAC, get corals out, and then also get the various schools of fish. Then we're going to go to the next step, which is B, which is where we score things. In each coral, we're going to score first and second place. I'm the only one with coral here, because I'm the only one sort of playing. I will get 2 points for having first place, second place will get 1. So you have 1 point for the lowest coral, and you have 4 and 2 for the highest coral. Basically, the higher up you go, the more points you're getting each round for the area control of the corals. For the fish, you have to score based on both having the fish and being able to feed them. You start with 1 food cube, which can feed 3 fish, and you can slowly get more and more cubes that will help you feed more fish, but you have to get those fish in order to go ahead and do that. The way you get cubes is primarily through advancing in the EAC. As you pass spots, you'll get your cubes, and then the first person to this spot over here is going to get this cube, but there's also going to be dice competition at the end of each round. That's another way that you can get food cubes. As you gather up food cubes, you can be getting as much as 28 points. If you have a full school of 28 fish, fully fed, that That is a lot of points if you can get that every round. It's a lot of points if you can get it even the last 2 rounds. Try to feed your fish. And then lastly, you're going to get points just where your turtle is on the EAC. If I'm over here, I get 2 points. If I'm over here, I get 6 points. The further up the track you are, the more points you're going to get. Before we get into the dice battles, let's cover the 5 types of cards there are, because one is relevant for dice battles. The 5 kinds is we have getting fish. When you activate one of these cards over here, you get a fish. When you activate this card, you place a coral based on where your turtle currently is. There's helpful markers on the board showing you where you'll place it, but if you activate that, you get extra coral out faster. And then we have this one over here, which is going to be extra turtle movement whenever you activate that. And finally, the one I already took, which is going to be points. And then the last type is dice competition cards. If you have one of these, it means that if you have that die color, you boost the value of that die color when you roll that dice in battle. So let's pretend that I'm going to give myself for this right now, so you can at least see how it plays out. I'm kind of just taking it, but I want you to see how it plays out. To that end, we get to the dice battle step. That's going to be step C over here, where all players involved, let's pretend I'm going to simulate a 2-player game right now because it's just a little easier, but all players involved are going to be rolling their dice in the dice competition. They roll their dice, and then each time you roll the dice, whoever has the lowest number returns that die to the pool, and then everyone rolls again, and yes, ties result in multiple people returning their dice to the pools. So now we have a 3 and a 6, a 5 and a 7, that's going to go there. We're going to roll these over here, and we have a 6 versus a 7 and an 8, and the 6 does lose, but there's a but here. This 6 is really a 7 thanks to this, which means the 2 7s go back to the pool. Not that it matters. This player is going to be the last one standing with the highest dice. Basically, you're going through consecutive rerolls, always removing the lowest dice, and in case of tied, multiple lowest dice. What are you winning with that battle? You're winning either points from this tile over here, or alternatively points and a food cube for this tile. The winner gets to choose which one they prioritize, either more points or less points but a food cube, and these get worth progressively more points as you go through the game. Do that for 5 rounds, and that is basically how you play Australis from Cosmos Games. Which means it's time to go ahead and dive into my thoughts, my rating, what I like, don't like, can see others not liking, starting off with what I like, which in general, the dice drafting and tableau building is surprisingly satisfying for a game this short. Like, the game clocks in at roughly 45 minutes, the box says 60 minutes, but honestly, I think you can knock it out in 45 minutes pretty easily. It's fairly simple to teach. There's 5 rounds of play. Each round you draft a bunch of dice, and there are a lot of choices as far as what you're prioritizing. You can also predict or build towards certain choices. You can build towards your own choices based on the tableau you set up, and you can predict what others are going to take based on the tableau they've set up. So if I'm trying to eye between 2 things, and I know that you benefit from activating blue cards, I'm more likely to let the other one stand because I know I have to take that first, knowing you want those cards, want those dice. So there's a fun little dice drafting puzzle where everything is good for you, whether it's first player and just higher numbers for the dice battle, or whether it's getting a whole bunch of coral out so you can score them as fast as possible, or whether it's advancing up the EAC, which can give you a lot of flexibility both for scoring fish as well as it's a tiebreaker whenever you have anything else. So there's a lot of decision space in this dice drafting. 4 dice drafting per round, 5 rounds the whole game. That's 20 dice you're drafting. That's not a lot, but there's a lot of decision space in those dice drafting, especially as you build up your tableau. And again, all delivering this in a 45-minute game. So it's light, charming, easy to play, and gives you a lot of things that you're doing along the way. As far as things I don't like in the game, I kind of touched upon it a little bit, but it definitely is on the lighter side. So I think this is a very charming, accessible game, but it's definitely a little bit on the lighter side. I think this goes firmly in the gateway camp, which it's still enjoyable, but just know what you're getting yourself into. This is not a heavy strategy game. It's got a game that's got enough decision space in a small form factor, well, not form factor, time factor, a small time factor, but it's definitely on the lighter side. I also wish there were ways that you can double up on cards in the game. I frequently found, or at least clear this row over here, I frequently found that I was a little bit stuck as I played, where I went heavily on tableau, because I generally do as I play these types of games, but that also meant that as the row got clogged up with cards I already had, you can take a card and discard it for its ability, but that's less fun than building up your tableau, and I found sometimes this would get a little static, so I wish that was a little bit ways to clear that. And then lastly, I'll say it definitely plays best at 3+ players. While it's a 2 to 4 player game, I felt that sense of competition higher at higher player counts than I did at a 2-player experience. As far as I can see others not liking, the dice battles do make up a good chunk of your points, and they definitely go in terms of luck, as well as, of course, statistical distribution, but it was not crazy for me to see someone win a dice battle where they totally shouldn't have, and it just played out in their favor. And in a game that's as close as it often is, like, one of the nice things about the game is you can pursue vastly different strategies and have fairly close scores, but for a game that close, having a dice battle swing one way or the other might be frustrating if you're a little bit more invested in that win. As far as final thoughts on Australis, I enjoy this. This is fun, simple, and charming. It doesn't knock it out of the park. It is very much leaning into that gateway category, but for what it's trying to do, I think it's very good, very accessible. Again, 2 pages of rules, or I guess 4 pages, 2 pages back to back. So 4 pages of rules, very easy to understand. Is it 4 pages? It actually might be a bit more than that. 1 second over here. It might be more. I might be so used to longer rule books that, okay, from the how to play, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 4 pages once you get to the how to play part. 4 pages of rules, very easy to teach. So yeah, overall to me this is a 3.5 out of 5. As far as what it's trying to do, I think it knocks it out of the park. As far as other game recommendations, definitely check out Dice Miner if you want another light dice drafting game. And if you want something that takes it to the next level, in my opinion, Rajas of the Ganges is an excellent one that both has dice drafting, but also has this kind of river situation as well. So not a race, but also where it matters. So if you want something similar, but the next level, I recommend Rajas of the Ganges. In any case, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this review helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.